Come, come hither, sit around that which is the fire, the hearth, that which is the central place, the time, the space of gathering as family, as friends. Come, lay down your weapons, gather around and warm yourselves. Sup from that which is prepared for you in the bowl. Allow yourself to feel and know the energy that is within you, which is connected to that, the great creator, the divine, the energy, the spirit of life, of truth, as it emanates from you and the words that you speak. Come and be a part of that which is the reality of the now, within the spectrum of time that is and is not, to allow yourselves permission, to allow yourselves to remember yet once more that you are not earthbound, but you are free, unlimited, that you are able to unfurl the wings that you have so tightly plaited behind you to try and assimilate into the human life, that you have forgot yet once more that you are angelics, that you have come to this place in this time and you've clipped your wings. Ah, yes, we hear you. But I'm Lyran, but I'm Palladian, but I'm this and I'm that. And yet, before all that, when we said you were angelic, that you were of the angels, whether you were of Archangel Michael, whether you were of the tribe of Gabriel, Raphael, Metatron, you accepted and believed without question, because within you resonated the truth of the highest connection of the divine, because the divine holds close the angelic. Why? Because the angelics were created after humanity, after Gaia had created the Terrans, after the Terrans had interacted with off-planetary beings that decimated and destroyed their energies. The Creator created these that you call the angelics. And this is where your history becomes muddled, because where do the angelics fit? Are they pre-Adamic? Are they post-Adamic? Are they pre-creation? Are they post-creation? Where do they fit and why? And we would say to you, we have always been, for we always are. We have always been because we are a part of the divine. We are the breath and His love, His representation. We are her embrace. We are her touch, her protection of the human species. And I am the voice speaking to you on behalf of the angelics. I am not Cryon, nor am I Michael, but I am Gabriel. And I am here as the message bringer to remind you not to be afraid. For though the world may be broken and destroyed around you, though it may be as if you are floating on an island on your own, that the waters are crashing around you and the waves are coming in, and at times you may feel desolate and alone, remember you are not alone. Do not be afraid. For around you and surrounding you is a host that you cannot see. The angelics have gathered around you, and they hold your head above the waters. And even though it may feel as if you sink below, they will sustain you. They will ensure that you will find and break through the covering to again breathe and be afloat and be grounded on solid ground. And there will be times where the waves will knock you from behind and take your feet from out from under you. And you may flounder for a while because of things that distract and press down on all sides. And yet, when you pause, when you truly sit in the very center of your soul, and you call upon that which is the divine connection, the Christ energy, and you admit to yourself that you are of the way, and being of the way, you are led by the light, by the truth. You are led by the indescribable knowing of who you are as a being created by the great Creator. That yes, while there may be faults found within you, a conversation with the Creator brings it all into alignment, all into balance, where you can integrate the faults and the cracks, releasing the pain and the trauma, forgiveness if you may, and you may step forward on solid ground yet again. And we are here to remind you that you are the bearers of truth. You are the bearers of good news. For whilst you may remember and utilize the armor of God, you oft forget that which is on your feet. For part of the armor is the shoes or the sandals, the thongs of the words that you speak, the truth that you bring. Yes, your sword of truth, your shield of faith, breastplate of righteousness, helmet of salvation, and by that it is just the fact that you are saving your mind. When you place the helmet on your head, you are placing a protection. You are saving it from the thoughts and the darts, the fiery weapons of words that enemy will use against you. You do not have to be religious to utilize this armor. You just have to be one of the way. And the ones of the way recognize the divine, recognize the Christ energy, the golden bridge, the cord of connection, the abundance of energy within oneself and around oneself, and the toroidal energy of connection. One of the way will recognize that as they see beyond their own limitations, the quantum field of connection, they begin to recognize and realize that that which is being fitted around them is a blind. It is to keep them in the stable, a bit in the mouth, to control. And yet when you realize the freedom of who you are in acknowledging that you are of the way, that you are a follower of the truth sayers, the pathfinders of truth and knowledge, that you take the message of hope wherever you go, these words will begin to resonate. Once, many centuries ago, I spoke these words, "Do not be afraid, for you have been chosen by God." I spoke these words to various people, one of them a woman. And many people will ridicule and will cast asunder some of the mythology or the true stories of the Christ energy, because it is impossible to believe that a mere human could conceive a child without being impregnated by a human seed. Why? Are miracles only miracles if they are made by humans? If it was made by humans, it would remove the miracle aspect from it. When somebody is riddled with cancer and they suddenly wake up healed, no cancer, it's a medical miracle. It must be because of the medicine that they were taking. No, it was because the divine touched them at a time where they reached out and they said, "I choose this now for myself. No more do I want the pain and the death." But Gabriel, if that's true, why doesn't the miracle happen for every person that is ill, that has this disease or that disease? Because, dear hearts, it would not be a miracle if it was everyday occurrence. It would not give you hope to keep pushing forward. And besides, most diseases in the human body are man-made and created with an agenda. And this is what you need to work with, is you need to work with the mind and the consciousness of the being that you work with, to retrain them to seeing that what has been broken inside of them can be fixed by their own mental attitude and what they speak over themselves. Because no healing, be it miracle or otherwise, comes about without first the intent, the deep true connection into the divine center of self, and then the true connection into the divine center of the divine. You see, every healing that takes place is a miracle. Some miracles stand out from others because they are so vast and so wondrous that you forget the little miracles. It's time to refocus on the little miracles. It's time to bring yourself into the awareness that life is miracle. Life is miraculous. It is that which is all-consuming. And yet it is the gift of everything that you could possibly ask for and attain to. My message to you is this. It is a teaching that as you perceive and as you transition through the days, as you awaken in the morning and you sleep at night, this in itself is a miracle. The miracle is that you waken every day to live through the day, to sleep through the night and awaken yet again. For when you sleep, your body literally goes into what is known as a small death. Because everything basically shuts down except the heart, mind, and a few of the organs. Everything else goes into paralysis. And it is your heart that slows down to rhythm, to ensure that you breathe. Your mind controls that rhythm. There is a switch inside of you at a certain timing that clicks, and the heart rate begins to speed up. The comfort level of the body begins to heat, to awaken you. This in itself is a miracle, and yet we hear no thanks, or very few thanks, reaching the divine for the miracle of life that you enjoy each and every day. No, it's not a judgment. I'm trying to focus your energy, your sight, on that you are a walking miracle. And walking miracles can infect others. I like that word, infect. For it has a connotation given to it that is unpalatable. Let us reclaim it. And let us use it in a way that is life-giving, that is installing within oneself the awareness that you are able to inject, to instill, to give another being the DNA, the awareness, the bacteria, the viral energy of life, of that attitude that what they are and who they are is a gift from the divine and not to be squandered. You see, beloved, as we sit around this hearth and as we begin to take note of all that are here, we begin to realize that our cottage walls are covered with shields and swords, spears and arrows, bows, tomahawks, axes, spikes, all manner of warring armor, defense tools, weapons. And yet, at the same time, each one of these is a tool of peace. It is dependent on how you use them. And we have worked with multitudes of humans over the eras of time. One epoch after another, one era after another, one cycle of life after the other. And it is in this time that you are in the 26,000th year cycle. You are in the year of the change. You are in the timing. And it is up to you to define the change that you will endure, that you will live by. Yes, many of those around you have chosen to die by accepting within themselves a foreign process that is, shall we say, untested and unhuman. But many thousands, millions have chosen not to. They've chosen life. Now, we make this categorical differentiation because, in many ways, this is the prophetic of the divine coming to pass, where it says, a third of the population will cease. A third, a third, a third. And this for many times and many eras and many interpretations has caused humanity great dilemma. What did the prophet John mean when he wrote Revelations? It is a great story. It is a great book. It is a book not for the simple-minded, but for those who wish to read it and comprehend it as it is meant to be, a prophecy. Prophecy books are not literal. They take what they see and they try to describe it the best way they know how, with the limited vocabulary that they have. But there is much that is being given to you in every day, much being exposed. And we would remind you that you are of a toroidal energy, an energy that spins the darkness out of you. You must not allow the doubt and fear to reside inside of you, for that will infect your toroidal energy and it will create the breakdown. Instead, we would say that you should dance and sing, rejoice, and bring the life that is within you outward. For when others see the joy and health and well-being and the laughter and the absolute esoteric joy in your life, they will be afeared to come near you, because they will say, what is this? Why are they not afraid? Why are they not living in fear? Why do they not expect the worst? Why are they not eager to find a solution of disharmony? Why do they say there is another way? And it is by this that you will find and attract those who are seeking another way. For it is your time. It is your time to be seen. It is your time to be heard. For just as Gaia shivers and shakes around the world, these are going to become more frequent, more felt, more noticed. In places where earthquakes and shakes should not happen, volcanic eruptions, out of time, out of place, landslides, torrential rains, things are going to occur, and you will question why. And then you will remember, these are the symptoms, these are the signs of a brand new day. For did John not say in his book of Revelation that there was an explosion and fire exploded and the earth burnt and was consumed, and then a new earth was born? Well, answer me this. If the earth was consumed in a nuclear battle, destroyed, how could it just roll over and a new earth be born? Did he not see this exact thing, one dying and another born? another there. Perhaps it wasn't so much nuclear, perhaps it wasn't so much fire and death, etc., etc., but it might have been a solar hit. It might have been an explosion of some type, yes. A volcanic eruption, yes. We are in uncharted waters of your timing, and yet if you read the prophetics, not just of the Christian writings or the way seers' writings, those of the way, but if you go to all of the other ancient texts, you will begin to see similarities coming into play. You may even see that which they say is yet to come has already occurred, and this is actually the in-between stage, and the finality is about to break. But I cannot and I will not spoil your discovery, for this is your history, this is your now moment of learning, because as you investigate, as you begin to research where it is you are in your timeline, you begin to see the sweetness, you begin to see the resonation, you begin to see the platin and the true connection to the divine, knowing that the Creator has never truly left. You may have been told that He has forgotten you, that they have never really cared, that you are just puppets and they are the puppet masters. No, that's the demonic realm, or the greys, the reptilians that have controlled the earth for so long. But your divine Creator has never been further away from you than a heartbeat, than a breath, than a pause, crying out for you, waiting for you to recognize the touch, the voice, the love that He has for you. And yes, in many ways we refer to the Creator in masculine because of the strength, the vitality, the emanation of power that is coming from the Creator. But it does not dismiss that in that mix is the divine feminine. And we would remind you that you cannot have God without Goddess. And you cannot have Goddess without God. And these are just words of human description. Because the source of all life is beyond your human conception. And this is why when you truly fall into the hand of the divine, when you truly fall into committing to the divine and all that it pertains to, you then experience a peace that the human mind cannot conceive. Your whole body is consumed with a love you cannot explain. And this is our journey, the Angelics, to remind you of this love, to remind you of this connection, to remind you you have never been alone. You may feel worn down. You may feel as if your shoulders are cracking under a weight you cannot bear. But we would say to you and remind you, the Creator would never ask you to carry something that you cannot carry. So if you are carrying a weight that is breaking you, put it down. You are not meant to carry it. It's not your weight. It's not your concern. It's not your problem. Because the divine will only ask you to carry what you can carry. But if you insist on picking up other things and putting it in your backpack until your back breaks under the pressure, that is not the fault of the divine. It is yours. For the divine has often said, come and rest. Lay down your weariness. Lay down your burdens. Put them down. Let me help. But you humans, and again I use this you in a more broad spectrum way, but many of you refuse because you want to sort it out. You want to find the answers yourself. And that is admirable. And yet, there is so much going for you in the unseen realm that can support you to discover it quicker and easier. You just have to trust and have faith. You have to listen to the voice of the divine within you, your intuitive knowing, the breath of life within you, the true connection of light. For it is in this that you find your peace. It is in this that you find your strength. It is in this that you find your solutions. It is time to rise and to unfurl your wings and to soar once more with the angelics. It is time to unsheathe your swords, to place upon your arm that shield, to fit the breastplate, to place upon your waist the belt of which your sword is attached, that holds the skirt around your loins, that protects your loins. It is time to shod your feet with the preparation of the words that you will speak as you walk. It is time to become soldiers of the way. Now remember, soldiers are a multitude of representation. Soldiers defend, they fight, they help, they assist, they deliver medication, they protect. And when you are soldiers of light, when you are soldiers of the divine, when you are in the army of the divine, of the creator being, your being is alive with light. When was the last time you emanated the light from your heart? When was the last time you allowed it to shine through your eyes, through your words, through your dermis? When was the last time you glowed with the extreme vibration of the internal light of the divine? It is coming to the time of ignition. Are you ready to be ignited again? Are you ready to be the spokesperson? To be the person who is a shelter in the storm? To be the tower that opens its doors and allows others to find refuge? Because this is what the armor of the divine, the armor of God is about. It's not just about fighting and picking fights. It's about standing, defending, being conscious, knowing when to speak and when to walk and when to stand. Never retreat, just stand, defending the bean patch. Allow yourself to retain your awareness of who you are, of whose you are. For in the I am that I am, you will find your resonance. You will find your keys to unlock the cage that your heart and your mind have been entrapped in. And yes, many of you have been working through and releasing yourself through the layers of concepts and matrix-bound, infiltrated aspects of your life. And yet, we would have to say this, many of you are still in a cage. And we say this because you are looking from inside the bars out towards freedom, instead of looking from freedom back and saying, come and join us in freedom. You see, freedom is something that is within you. It's time to step out of the jail that the mind has built through the training of society and step into the freedom the divine has given you from birth, from creation. I am Gabriel. My message is short and yet I believe pertinent. I ask that you stay by the fire, around the hearth, and that you come to your own conclusions of what I have shared with you this night. But know this, you are free beings. You are free to take what I say and leave it. You are free to take what I say and study it. You are free to take what I say and consume it. You are free beings. Act as if you are free. Because from freedom, being in freedom gives you the ability to be free, to show freedom, to expand freedom, to walk freedom. So come and continue in this energy. Continue in this way of being. And do not allow yourself to forget who you are and why you are here. Because you have the gift of freedom, of life, of the way, of the truth within you. You have to activate it. You have to accept it. We can just present it to you, highlight it, remind you. So earth angels, angelic beings, warriors, messengers, healers, in the angelic realms, we invite you to come back to your center of knowing. Not forgetting the DNA that runs within you, of lifetimes and experiences that you have had. But know that most of you have had many incarnations in the angelic realms. You've had many connections, friends in the angelic realms. And whilst you personally may not be an angelic being, you are connected to angelic beings who act as those who would guide you and protect you, who would come and assist you in many, many of your achievements and your adventures. So even if you do not resonate with being an angelic, you are part of our family by mere fact of being connected to us. Discover again your truth, your limitlessness, your expansion. Discover again the value of your words. Discover again those that you connect to. Stay in the hearth. Stay supping from the bowl that nourishes your soul. The food, the words, the love. It is not just bread and water that sustains the human body, but the words that you speak over yourself and that are spoken over you. This is what sustains you. More than just the morsels that go through your mouth. Watch your words and watch the words of others that speak over you. It's time to be consciously directed. So I am Gabriel. I am the messenger. I have shared my message. Be at peace. Be not afraid, but rise and be strong. And so it is.